What's up, guys? Hobo Nichol BBQ back with you again. We're on the 29th episode of The Hot Seat, and today we've got Russ from Smoky Ribs and Southern Cuisine. What's up, Russ?
Oh, man, nothing much. Glad to be here. I think this will be a lot of fun.
And in the co-host seat, we've got Scott in for the grill. What's up?
What's up, everybody?
All right. Give everybody a second if they're waiting for notifications. We got 10 people in here right now. We've got Dan Smoky Goodness, Kent Vanderweerd, Mr. Mega Fred Zeppelin, Cooking with CJ, Helga's Pennsylvania, Cooking in Homestead, Keith Bettag, Roundhouse Ranch Barbecue, and Christie's Cooking Channel, Lyle No Hippie Barbecue. All right, let's get on with the show. Russ, where are you from?
I am from Pascagoula, Mississippi, born and raised until Hurricane Katrina. Now I'm currently in Biloxi, Mississippi, which is roughly 20 miles west of Pascagoula.
All right. Real quick, if anybody's got any questions in the chat, people that came from Russ's channel, type them in the chat. Scott's going to keep track of them and work them in as we go. All right, Russ, family life, wife, kids, dog, chinchilla, what you got?
In my first marriage, I had two sons, Derek and Chad, and that's it for kids, two sons. And as I told you earlier, I'm on my fourth marriage. I've been married to my fourth wife for 6 years. And so it is what it is. I was going to stop at 3, but hey, went for one more.
Can't hurt.
Why not? Married most of my life anyway.
All right, so excuse me, and everybody, I've got this cough still. What's your real job, Russ?
I am a pipe welding foreman at Huntington Ingalls. We build Navy U.S. ships, and currently I'm in the pipe shop, which is a lot better job than what I've had in the past. I don't have to go on board the actual vessels anymore, and we just, a lot of pipe goes to the pipe shop. I mean, a lot. We probably put out 1,000 pipe details per week throughout the shop, and it's go, 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 but I enjoy it. It's a lot better than what I was doing.
We're almost sworn enemies. I'm the piping inspector at an oil refinery.
Really? Oh, cool.
All right, Julie from Mojo's Kitchen sent me some messages today and wants to know what made you decide to start a YouTube channel.
Well, you see that little logo that you seen when I first come on and couldn't get my camera going?
Right.
All right. That was a logo that I actually paid for, and I had a idea of starting up a website called Cave Mart, and it was going to be a website for like man cave items, grills, and all this stuff. And eventually I realized that that was going nowhere because nobody can compete with Amazon.com. Just can't do it. And so in the process of doing all that, that's where I discovered barbecue channels on YouTube. And I believe Ballistic Barbecue, Man Cave Meals, those are some of the very first channels that I ever watched. And I'm like, man, I could do this. So I started up with a little iPhone 4. Terrible video, terrible audio, but that's how I began. And didn't even realize you can make money with it until I was 6 months into it. I was just eating it up, man, YouTube. And I was reading everything about monetization and all that. And I just kept rolling with it religiously, week after week. And it just started growing. I look back and I can't believe I'm where I'm at, really, you know, because I'm not a pro by any means. So, but that's how it started.
Hey, Scott, I seen Rusty Barbecue had a question for...
Writing it down. It's a long ass one. I got it.
Read it off.
So Rusty Barbecue asked, so now that you've had your Lone Star grills offset for a while, is there anything you would get different? Getting ready to order my own soon. Thanks in advance.
I tell you the truth, for the amount of people that I cook for, I absolutely love. That is my favorite smoker above all of them. It just absolutely is. And Chris is going to be sending me the off-road wheel package here soon. And I can't wait to do that because I'm kind of restricted. I keep it in the garage where rust and all don't sit in on it. And I roll it out for these videos, and I roll it out a lot of times off video. And that is my go-to smoker. I do love the Mini as well, but man, you just can't beat that real wood. You know, it took me all these years to realize that I've always used charcoal with wood chunks, but after having this offset, man, there is no comparison. But what would I do different? Yeah, the table right there in the front, I would have had the swing down table because I'm short. And even with the wheels that's on there now, the 1,000-pound casters, it's all I can do to open it with the reach I have. I guess I could get something to stand on. I'm not that short. I'm like 5'8", but man, that's a big grill. It's a lot bigger than what it appears to be. When we went over to Houston and I seen that grill for the first time, I'm like, holy smokes. I'm used to looking at those cheapos at your Academy, and there was no comparison in the size of it. But I would do that. I would definitely have the swing down table. And now I've been asked 1,000 times, would I go with the 1/2-inch firebox? No, because not where I live. If I was up north, yeah, I could see the benefit. But I had been in the dead of winter, in the middle of summer. That 1/4 inch still works perfect. Very efficient. Absolutely love it.
All right. So what do you use to record your videos now?
It's camera-wise, I have 2 Canons. I have the HF G30, and I had the Canon HF G40. And I would really like the upgrade. I mean, they're doing okay. It's, you know, it was a big upgrade from what I used to do. In addition to that, I'm also using a iPhone 7 Plus, and I have a gimbal for that, and I'll get some moving shots with that. That's about it on the cameras.
All right. So typically I ask, what cookers do you have? And I feel like that could probably be a lot longer conversation. So let me rephrase the question with, what are your favorite cookers at this point?
Well, I tell you what, it started off, you know, with a Weber, and I still had the original Weber. That's still here. I had the pit barrel cookers. I had the original, and more recently, I had the Junior that they sent out, and I had the Lone Star Offset, and I had the Lone Star Mini, and I actually sold off my Kamado Joes. I sold off the what was the black one I had? I shot videos about 2 years with it. It worked really good. It's, in my opinion, it cannot stand up to a Kamado Joe as far as quality goes. Nothing wrong with the Kamado Joe, but I keep all this in the garage, and I had to make some room. And between the Mini and the Offset, that's all the smokers I'll ever need again. Seriously, if I need a grill, use the Weber. You know, pit barrel cooker, I still like using them for simplicity and the ease, and it does a really good job, I think.
Okay, so who taught you how to cook?
Well, as far as barbecue and all that, it's self-taught. That was just, as soon as I left home at 18 years old, the first thing I bought was one of these, they used to be advertised on TV, a hibachi grill, and I'm not talking about the ones like you see in a sushi bar. I'm talking about the little charcoal hibachi is what they called them back in the 70s. And it started with grilling steaks. And then from there, it was one of those little cheapo grills that you could do chicken on. And, you know, it just advanced over the years. Then I eventually got what they call, I believe it's called a Cajun cooker, which is very similar to a Weber Smoky Mountain. And I used to do turkeys and hams and pork butts. And it's just advanced over the years. So I kind of self-taught myself how to barbecue. As far as the seafood and all the other things I do, my mother. My mother's an outstanding cook. And I would hang out in the kitchen with her. I mean, from age 12, I used to do a lot of camping and stuff, so I wanted to be self-sufficient when I was camping in the backyard. So she taught me how to cook, you know, on that level with the stove and all. I had to learn how to cook over open fire. Read a lot of books too.
Mike Everyday Barbecue is giving me a hard time because I just picked up I don't know if you're familiar with this brand. It's called Son of Hibachi, which I think came out in the 80s.
That rings a bell, but I can't really put a picture or image with that. Son of Hibachi. I'll have to Google that later.
It folds up kind of like a suitcase.
Oh, okay.
And
yeah.
I bought that in the rotisserie, and the rotisserie came, and it was a pain in the ass to put together. And then I got to the point where I got frustrated. I said, you know what? I'm just going to make sure that, because it's a battery-operated rotisserie, I put the battery in, it didn't work, and I've just about flung it across the driveway. The grill part, I think, will be fine. It's just the rotisserie is just irritating.
Right. Gotcha.
All right, another Julie Mojo question. What's your favorite food that you don't make yourself?
that I don't make myself. Wow. I can tell you now, one of my favorite foods of all time is pizza, but I do make that, you know, I'm going to tell you the truth, though. I order out a lot more than what I make myself. You know, it's just coming in from work and everything like that, make a phone call, boom, delivered. But, you know, well, I feel like it, I will make my own crust and, of course, you know, make my own pizza. But let's see, something I don't make myself. I can't think of anything, honestly.
I know Julie's, what'd she call it? Not babysitting, it was adult sitting.
Oh, it was dad sitting.
Yeah. So she said she's going to watch tonight or tomorrow. All right. So what's a weekday meal look like at your house?
Well.
Camera just...
Huh?
What's that, Scott?
Oh, his camera went out for a second.
Ah.
Is it back?
You're working.
Okay. Typical during the week. Well, let's see. It really depends on if my wife is off or not. This week she's working all evenings, so I don't go in there and cook, and she don't cook. Last night it was Whataburger. And to be honest with you, I haven't eaten anything tonight. I'll go in there and make something a little bit, you know. But when we're all here, we'll fire that Weber up quite often. You know, we'll do steaks, burgers, whatever, chicken, you know.
I see T-Roy just hopped on.
What's up, Troy?
You're supposed to be on vacation, Troy, not watching YouTube videos. Scott, you got anything from the chat you want to drop on us?
Christie's Cooking Channel. Steak or crawfish?
Ooh.
Hope I pronounced it properly.
Crawfish, because they're so seasonal, and this is the time of the year right here. My last video, crawfish. It's I'm not going to say I like them better, but man, there's a lot more to it than just what they taste like. It's like a social event because all the friends, family, everybody gets together, and that's what I like about the crawfish boils. You know, it's more of that sort of thing. You can eat steak any day of the week.
You got any more, Scott? I've not been keeping up with it.
Kent Vanderweerd wants to know, were you ever in the service?
No, never have. Or never was. I'm sorry.
You know what, Scott? Just keep it
Lyle,
running until you run out.
Lyle, no hippie.
I'm sorry. I was going to say we build the warships for the Navy, but that's as close as I've gotten.
Lyle from No Hippie Barbecue wants to know, how fun was it working with Swayze on Roadhouse?
Oh, it's funny you say that because back in the 80s, I was told that all the time that I looked a lot like Sam Elliott. Not so much now, but I was about the right weight and everything back then, and I was told that quite a bit. It'll surprise you. I personally don't see it, but that's what I was told.
You got any more, Scott?
Yeah, I got 3 or 4 more, actually. Tango Joe, any plans for a long boat trip? Say Gulf Coast tour.
Well, not so much for me, but my oldest son, he's got all kind of plans. He's starting up his sailing channel with the new sailboat, and matter of fact, he just posted a new video today, and he's definitely got plans for some long passages and journeys and such as that, but we still have work to do on it. So 1978, and we've done a lot already, but he's not going to feel good about it, and I'm not going to feel good about it until we got everything really where we want it, and even then, anything is possible. But as far as me with work and YouTube videos and all that, I seriously doubt it. We just do the weekend thing. We went this past Saturday, matter of fact.
Mojo's Crazy Kitchen. What's your favorite booze?
Favorite booze?
They said liquor. Yeah, they said liquor, but I say booze, so same thing, right?
You know, I don't drink a lot of booze anymore. I'm more of a beer guy, but I've always enjoyed like tequila. tequila sunrise. I like bourbon, Jack Daniels, but I hardly ever drink it. Usually around the holiday season, I might get a bottle. My wife works at a liquor store. She's always, now I like rum too. I love rum. That Anniversario from, where's that from? Venezuela, I believe. That's good stuff. But I just don't partake of it very often, you know.
All right, I'm gonna
go over, Hobo.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I see you're getting slammed over there. So what's your favorite video you've made and why?
Oh, wow. I've never really thought about that a whole lot. I would probably have to base it on like one of my favorite items that I've cooked as far as the way it tastes and everything. God, there's been a few of them. Let me give that some thought. As far as, I don't know, believe it or not, you know, JB Spring Fling, as we used to do, I really enjoyed those videos because that's where I met Tango Joe and Booger US 500, Keith Betag, numerous others, Joe from Southern Coastal Cooking. That was a lot of fun shooting those videos because of all, you know, being able to socialize with all them guys. I would have to say that was probably my funnest as far as that goes.
All right, I don't know if Fred asked this in the chat or not, but he likes me to ask this question to everybody. Mr. Mega Fred Zeppelin wants to know your favorite bands, music, etc.
Oh, I did that tag here a while back, and man, there are so many. You know, I would say the old school stuff was the Beatles because that's like the first thing that I ever heard. I've got two older brothers, and they were like 15 and 16 when I was just this little kid running around, and they were bringing home all the new Beatles albums, and that was my really first experience with that kind of, that and Elvis, of course. But as the times went by, I was more of a product of the 70s, and you know, the list is long from Ozzy Osbourne, Def Leppard, Aerosmith, just the normal stuff, you know, we would listen to back in those days. Led Zeppelin, you know. As far as favorite, to this day, I even have an Ozzy tattoo right here. I really love Ozzy. Nobody can sound like Ozzy. I mean, nobody can duplicate that voice, and the music was good.
Right. All right. Funniest thing that's happened while recording that we never saw after editing.
Oh, yeah. We was talking about pizza a while ago, right? Well, I had bought this attachment for my Weber, and I think it's called the Kettle Pizza. That's the name of it. Still have it. And I had bought these new pills to put the peeps on, take the peeps off. Well, when I took one of them off, I think I was making 3 pizzas that day, and I don't remember if it was first one, second, or third one, but the video shows making 3 separate pizza doughs, and at the end, it only shows 2 pizzas. And what happened, I used my aluminum pill, the big one, to take it off with, and as soon as I took it off, the whole thing slid onto the ground in the grass, upside down. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. So I didn't show that, man. I should have, really. Should have made some bloopers out of it in hindsight. But, yeah.
Oh, that happens.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Christy's Cooking Channel question. What's the best and the worst thing you have ever cooked?
Well, what really stands out to me, I mean, there's been a lot of good ones, but I made a Gulf Coast BLT, bacon, lettuce, and tomato on po' boy bread, but I had fried oysters on top of it with what kind of cheese? I used brie cheese on it. Man, that thing was absolutely delicious. If you're an oyster lover, which I am, that would have to rank right there in the top. But God, like I said, there's so many. As far as the worst thing I've ever done, and it really wasn't for YouTube, and it never aired. I was contracted by Thrillist.com 2 years running to make these little 30-second videos, and I'd have to submit to them the ideas I had, and they had to approve it, whether it was going to be a go or a no-go. And I was going to make an oyster pizza. Bad idea. That thing was disgusting. You know, and I told them straight up front, it cost me, you know, some money. And I mean, it really didn't, because we turned around and come up with another idea, and I did another video. But I said, there's no way we're going with this video. I said, it sucked. It absolutely sucked, you know. So live and learn on that.
So I see Bad Beast Barbecue just typed in the chat. I'm trying to help Scott not get buried here. Of all your cookers, which one do you like the best?
Oh, I said it earlier. I love the Lone Star Grill's offset, man. Absolutely.
All right, this is a Barlow Barbecue, Mrs. Barlow question when I was in the hot seat. If Hollywood decided to make a movie about your YouTube channel, what actor would you like to portray you in the movie?
Wow. I have no idea. I'm at loss for that one, man. I don't know. What do y'all think? I don't know. I have no idea. Never thought about that.
We can swing back around at the end. Worst case scenario.
Homer Simpson. Now I've been told I look like him too. he could do what I'm doing.
I see Baby Back Maniac and Dave's Ohio Barbecue just hopped on here. What's your guilty food pleasure?
Guilty food pleasure. It ain't much makes me too guilty, but let me think. It would have to be like a decadent type dessert. Now, my favorite dessert is like a bananas Foster. And I did one on the video, and it was more of a tropical style. I had grilled pineapple and all with a banana, but made like a bananas Foster. But it didn't make me feel guilty. I ate it all up. Pina colada ice cream, same thing. I don't know, man. I don't get guilty over eating. I just enjoy it.
Scott, you got anything on the list? I know you were doing a lot of writing.
Yeah, Meathead, favorite thing to fish.
Oh, fish, speckled trout. It's inshore fishing. That's what is more accessible for me. But as far as my favorite tasting, now speckled trout is my favorite tasting inshore fish. Mahi offshore is my favorite out there.
Scott, just go ahead and run until you run out of stuff.
I think this is a good question. Chris's Cooking Channel asked, what was your first comment or story? I think I wrote that one down funny. I have to relook at it. I think that's all I got. I got to look at Christy's question again because I wrote it down funny.
All right, Justin Baby Back Maniac brought up, thanks, Justin, for bringing that up. He says, have we discussed that silver play button yet? Freaking awesome, man.
No, not tonight. We hadn't. It's hanging right beside me. Is it in the picture or not?
Yeah, it's in there.
Yeah.
I honestly didn't notice it. I wasn't looking behind you. I was looking at you.
I hear you.
So how's that feel?
Oh, man, it feels good. It's like a sense of accomplishment, knowing how you started and what you started with to have got to that level. You know, it feels real good. I would love to see a million, but I'll be 60 on my next birthday. I just don't see that one happening, not at the rate that I'm growing, you know, but hey, I'll take what I got, you know. It's good.
So in hindsight, I'll ask this question. What was your thoughts on the burger VR thing that you did?
Burger VR thing. Explain a little bit more.
The contest that you had for the burger competition giveaway thing that you did.
Oh, that. Yeah. I enjoyed it, and I think I picked some good judges on it, you know. Jason Ganal and Greg Marvich and Chris Lynch. I think that they did a good job with it, and you know, their winner might not have been in line with who I thought, but it wasn't about what I thought. It's the reason I had their three minds working together to decide on a winner with that, you know.
I know.
It was a lot of fun. I doubt seriously I ever do another contest because there's always a lot of bad that comes out of those. Is, you know, it's like, I don't know. It's like, if you ever do them long enough, you know what I'm talking about. I told Greg, that's probably my last rodeo on that. And I think he's gotten away from them altogether too. When I first started, that's what helps grow your channel actually when you're young, you know, doing giveaways and things like that. But what I found out is like a lot of people would sub me just for the contest, and as soon as it's over, boom, that's it. You never hear from these guys again. So it was kind of counterproductive at the same time. And you'd rather somebody that really follows you on a regular basis win the prize, you know, but you have no control over it, especially if it's a random drawing.
Right.
So now I still do the giveaways, like the random drawing, but as far as the contest goes, where you got some major prizes going on, I doubt I ever do that again.
I know as somebody that participated, I had a fun time because it was just trying to come up with something. Because I think what I got the most fun out of was you basically challenged everybody. Do as much as you can from scratch, because that weighs just as much as a lot of the other parts of it, which really pushed me to try to do something that I wouldn't normally do because I'm lazy as hell.
Yeah, that, and there was a time frame there, and I know it could be done. And I remember Booger, you know, US 500, she was saying that I really pushed her to where she knows, you know, it made her feel good that she could push herself and achieve exactly. And a lot of people did. They got it right on the very second. I forget now what it had to run. It was short, but yet the viewer knew exactly every detail of the burger from start to finish. It just clicked right along. There was a lot of hard choices in that contest, man. I was blown away by what people were coming up with, you know. But overall, that part of it was a big success.
All right. 3 channels you watch, 1 big, 1 small, and 1 you think should be much bigger than they currently are.
Well, Malcolm Reed, I'm going to throw Greg Marvich in there because they're both big, you know. And I watch them religiously. 1 medium, you said?
1 big, 1 small, and 1 you think should be bigger than they currently are.
Oh, okay, 1 small. I watch a lot of small ones, actually. I would say Mike from, I can't even think of his channel name, Brain Fart. You know what I'm talking about, the one that gave us some assistance earlier. Oh,
Everyday Barbecue.
Yeah, Everyday Barbecue. I would say that he deserves to be bigger where he's at, and I also say that it ain't going to be long. He is going to be bigger than where he's at. He's doing a really good job. He's a natural at it, and I think he's on soar, and you know, in no time at all. What was the other part of that question, or was that it?
It was 1 big channel, 1 small channel, and 1 you think should be bigger than they are. So I'll leave you with a small channel you watch.
I watch a lot of them. I watch Christy's Cooking. I watch Scott. Man, I'm having brain farts. I can't think of their names right now.
I understand. I'm terrible with names as it is, yeah. Anyways.
But I watch quite a few smaller channels.
All right. This is a meathead question. Who would be on your personal Mount Rushmore?
My personal Mount Rushmore. Wow, these are some hard questions for me. Well, that's the one with all the presidents, the 4 presidents. Is that correct? So it's got to be somebody of importance to me.
You go with wife 1, wife 2, wife 3, and wife 4.
Ooh, boy, that's a war zone right there. I don't know, man. Probably my 2 sons, you know, if I can have 2. They always been my life, you know, all the work and everything I've done, trying to make extra money and working 2 jobs before doing the YouTube thing and things like that. It was always to bring up my family, you know, my sons mainly. When the wives bailed out, they always stayed with me. So I would say my 2 sons, and they're there for me. I'm there for them.
Scott, how's your list going?
Good. Want to answer some more?
Let her rip. I seen this chat's been crazy.
How many people's in here?
30 as far as I can see. We were up to close to 40 at one point.
Okay.
I messed Christy's question up, so I have it written correctly. What's the funniest comment you have gotten?
Wow. Millions of comments over 6 years. The funniest one. Give me 1 second. Well, actually, I can't remember all the comments. I'm going to tell you that straight up. But I had one yesterday about the last video I did with the crawfish, showing the boil boss that slides over that pot. And he was like, aren't you concerned about the amount of water that you're wasting? And my first thought is the amount of water we spent in 3 minutes don't even equal a couple flushes that the toilet does, you know, and ain't no telling how many times that toilet got used that day with everybody over here drinking beer and such and washing clothes, you know, everything. It's like, that was pretty funny to me, but I don't know, man. I'm sure there's been some real funny ones, a lot of humor. I get a lot of those, but I just can't remember them. It's way too many.
Texas style cuisine, Johnny, the chef, he wants to know, what's your preferred wood?
Hey, Johnny, how's it going? Man, you're really come along with your channel, too. I really like the combination of the pecan and hickory. You know, I can go either or, but I like pecan, I like hickory, but I really love that blend on just basic barbecue. Now, I've used all kinds of woods, really depending on what I'm doing. And, but I would say that's my go-to combination there, or one separate from the other. Either way, pecan or hickory or both together.
Okay, and next one is from T-Roy. Do you still try to answer every comment on every video you've made? He has a hard time keeping up with it.
Well, it really all depends. I'll try to answer as many as I can in the first 24 hours of that video being up. And after that, I just hit, I'm glad they added that love button because it lets that person know that you read their comment. I'd rather do that than just do nothing, you know. But yeah, you're right, man. It's getting harder and harder to do. But I think the last video I actually did, I've answered every one of them. But there has been some in the past, not too distant past, that all I didn't have time to just go through there and read them and hit the love button just so they'll know I did, in fact, read it, you know. Now, if they ask me a specific question, I try to go in there and answer it the best I can.
You got any more, Scott?
Yes, I got one from Mojo's Crazy Kitchen again. Not sure if I asked this one. Where's Russ's wife's favorite place to sail?
Favorite place to sail?
Yeah.
Well, be honest with you, this past Saturday was the first time she's been on the boat. First time ever, and she absolutely loved it. We sailed out to Shep Island, which is off the coast of Mississippi, one of the barrier islands. And it was like we left in the morning. We cruised all day. We caught some good wind coming back, and she thoroughly enjoyed it. Keep in mind, I haven't had the sailboat that long. I bought it last fall. It went into the shipyard, had a lot of major work to do down the engine room, and we've had it at the dock since January. And just we're still working on it, but it's sellable. Got new sails, new rigging, motors running good, got new motor mounts, all that stuff. So this is her first opportunity to actually go on it. But I'm sure it won't be her last.
So have you always been into sailing, or is this a new endeavor for you too?
Well, actually, it's really more about my son. You know, he started getting to sailing about a year ago, and he took his own money and bought this little 25-foot McGregor. That thing was going to kill him is what it was going to do, and it actually did sink right off of Gulfport. It was the, I think that was in October. The Cruising the Coast is coming down here. I was going to go down there and meet him and shoot a video for Cruising the Coast. He had brought the pop-up with him and everything, and I was going to show it with a pit barrel cooker, and got there, and he was up underneath the canopy. And he told me he had anchored the boat like 100 yards offshore, you know, out in deeper water. And when I looked, man, it was a lot closer than that. And I said, hey, man, that boat's a lot closer than what you said it was. But it had stormed all night. And he'd been up under that canopy all night trying to keep that thing from blowing away. And anyway, he got up and looked. He like, man, that thing's been dragging anchor. And what happened, it got into shallow water, and that particular boat had a swing kill. And that swing kill was already making racket and waves, you know, slapping back and forth. And basically what happened, it drifted and drug anchor into real shallow water, and all the waves and everything actually busted the bottom of the hull. And it took an hour and a half, but it sank right there.
Jeez.
And so, you know, that was his money and everything. And I had told him, I said, man, if you'll just wait and hang on, my truck was paying off. I said, I'll help you finance a decent boat, a safe boat, something that a coastal cruiser, something you can hop over to the Bahamas if you want to. And so that's what we ultimately done. Safe boat, a lot better than what he had. But now me, I used to be big. I know I don't look like it now, but I am almost 60. Back in my early days, I was big into surfing. I mean, I was a surf addict and also avid scuba diver. So the love of the ocean's always been there. So when he's talking sailboat, I'm like, right on. Yeah, I can get into that, you know. And he's learned how to sail really good. He has just been in the past year really digging in all that, you know, and he's doing good with it. So obviously I enjoy going out there cruising with him.
Scott, we got any more?
Yeah, I just found a question from Booger. What is one thing that you will not cook or eat? It's kind of a two-part. And who is your favorite short Canadian?
Well, that's easy on both accounts. I would say Brussels sprouts. And there's a long story. I actually used to eat them. I'm not going to get into the story, but I no longer eat them. I hate them. And my favorite short Canadian would be you, Booger.
See, my favorite short Canadian, Scott. I don't know how short he is, though.
5'7.5".
Did you say 5'7.5"?
Yes, sir.
You're about my height. That's pretty short.
You got any more, Scott, or is that it?
That's it for now. Save the best for last.
Sorry, I went to mute the microphone to cough, and I muted my camera also. All right, guys, we're going to try to keep this right at an hour because Russ has to get up early in the morning. So if you got any last questions, start piling them in now. I see Mike Everyday Barbecue just put hanger steak tacos or pizza.
Ooh, man, that hanger steak's some good stuff. I'd have to go with that. I can get pizza anytime. Hanger steak is too rare. When you get your hands on that, yeah, hanger steak all day long.
All right, another meathead question. If you could cook with one person from any time period, who would it be?
Probably Emerald Lagasse. I used to watch him religiously all the years he was coming up, you know, and then eventually he did the live show on the Food Network, and just I really studied him. I learned a lot from him, really. You know, it was almost like he was my mentor because he really explained exactly what he was doing and everything. I would have to say Emerald Lagasse.
All right. So what's one thing most people don't know about you?
Well, I already said I've been married 4 times. One thing they don't know about me, I'm sure there's quite a bit, actually. Let me think of one. Hang on. God, these are some hard questions. I wish I had them in advance where I had time to think about them, and I could probably come up with a whole lot better answer, but
If it's the hot seat, it would be the lukewarm seat if I told you what I was going to ask ahead of time.
well, that's true. I just draw a blank when I get questions like that. You know, you can't think of one specific thing, but I'm sure there's plenty. Let's see. I'd like to answer that, but I really can't think of anything. One thing people don't know about me. Well, okay. I mean, this don't amount to much, but all the years of working, you know, I'm a pipe welding foreman, as I explained earlier, but I have really done a lot of things. You know, just to support a family when I was real young. My dad raised me in a chain link fence business. We also did privacy fence. And as a sideline in his business, he did aluminum patio covers, carports, and things like that. So that's how I started. I had a built-in job when I got through with school, and that's what I did. And during vacation time and all, he had all of us boys out there working. But after that, and after he retired, that's when I learned how to weld, and I went out to the shipyard. But in between all that, in between layoffs and everything, I also become a licensed electrician. I have become a pretty competent carpenter. Pool maintenance. I know just about everything there is to know about a pool, or used to. It's been a while now. I worked in an automotive shop for around 10 years doing automotive air conditioning. I've done maintenance at apartments doing not only residential air conditioning, but also commercial air conditioning. Pretty much a jack of all trades over the years. And that's what it took to make the living. So like I said, when I stumbled on this YouTube thing, and not that I'm getting rich by any means, but it's definitely, it relieved me working 2 jobs. You know what I'm saying? So it did do that. And I've run websites in the past. I actually used to make them. I've done all kind of things. People don't know that about me, I'm sure.
All right. I normally ask this question last, but I see Scott's going to have, I don't know, about another 100 questions here as fast as they're piling in. And I already know the answer to this question. And since I know one of the people's here, I want to ask you this. Who would you like to see in the hot seat sometime in the future?
I would love to see Malcolm Reed, but I don't know how accessible he is and his time schedule. I know he does competition barbecue thing and all that. So if that was to fall through, my second choice would be Troy from T. Roy Cooks. Would love to see him in here.
There you go, Troy. Call me. All right, Scott, run this out. I know you got a lot of questions in there. I'll start keeping track from wherever you just typed got you guys.
Okay, Lewis from Our Shack Barbecue. What's your favorite American beer?
Yeah, that's a funny thing because I've been drinking beer since I was probably 15, and it was illegal to buy it, but they didn't care back then. And it actually started off with like Schlitz. That's what my dad drank. And then it migrated into Miller Lite. And then, you know, different beers throughout the years. But I've been drinking Bud Light now, well, for 20 plus years. So I'd say as far as American beer goes, Bud Light.
Okay, Double J Barbecue wants to know, what is better, stuffed chicken breast, blue crab, or crawfish?
Well, I got a video where I took a chicken breast and I stuffed it with blue crab. And, man, you talk about good. So, hey, stuff it all in a chicken breast. Split that breast, blacken it with some blackening of the season. You got the best of all worlds. But to answer the question, I'd say blue crab meat takes over crawfish or chicken breast.
Chef Johnny from Texas Style Cuisine, favorite Mexican dish?
Favorite Mexican dish? You know, I have a hard time every time we go to a Mexican restaurant making up my mind what I want. I love the chili rellenos. I like the California burrito. I love enchiladas. I used to actually make enchiladas and brought them into work too. I like them. As far as favorite, I guess I'd have to go with like the California burrito. If that's, I doubt that's even real Mexican, but I like it.
Favorite thing to smoke, also from Chef Johnny at Texas Style Cuisine.
My favorite thing to smoke, it would have to be ribs. I mean, I love smoking all kind of meats, but ribs, man, we do that off camera quite a bit. Love ribs, pork spare ribs to be exact.
Nice. And T-Roy wants to know if you still sing.
Oh, karaoke? Man, I haven't sung karaoke in the past 7 years. We used to just live for that. It's amazing how you get into things and right back out of things. But I really used to enjoy it. But no, man, I hadn't sang in quite a while.
And I think we're all caught up here, Russ.
All right.
Anyone have questions, guys? Start piling them in the chat.
I think I'm caught
Okay,
up.
where did our...
Johnny asked a couple of questions, but you already had them pinned down. Oh, you know what? I have a question on here, but I don't remember who asked it. Oh, it's from the last one, but it's a good question. If you had to pick one or the other, Russ, salt or butter?
Salt, because salt is, you have to have salt on just about anything you cook to bring the flavor out, with or without butter.
All right. I'm going to give you the last word here. Looks like we're out of questions, and I know you got to get up early. So, is there anything you want to say? You got the floor, sir.
Well, hey, I enjoyed it. Thanks, Chris. Been a lot of fun. I figured it would be, and that's why I wanted to do this. So, hope everybody enjoyed it. I want to say until next time, Smoky Riz, but that's habit, man. I really need another line to close with. I've done that for years, but that's what I do. But yeah, man, enjoyed it. A lot of fun. I hope you can get either Malcolm or Troy on here. I'll be tuning in.
All right. I just noticed Booger asked, what do you think about salting the crawfish while cleaning them?
Oh, you're talking about purging. Purging with salt? You know, people used to do that all the time. I've done it, and LSU come out with a whole thing on that, and it basically what their test showed is that salt does really much of nothing. It doesn't really purge a crawfish, but what it does do is it can kill them. And you know as well as I do, when you dump the live crawfish out, you're always going to have a few dead ones in there. So the problem is if you salt, you know, and you don't necessarily know the dead ones from the live ones, and those dead ones, if you ever bit into a dead one, been dead for the 2 days that it takes to catch them and get them to you, that is nasty. So we quit salting them. We just wash them, rinse all the mud off of them, and that's it. You know, no more purging, no salting. I add salt to my boil mix, or you know, my pot if it needs it. Taste it, see if it needs it. Some of your boil mixes are real heavy in salt, and you might not need it. So it's really good to take a little bit out, let it cool, taste it. You'll know if it's bland or not.
All right, we're going to sign off here. Russ and Scott stay on for a second afterward. I want to thank everybody for watching, and I have no idea who's going to be on next week. We'll figure something out, but we'll have a show. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Love you. Goodbye.
Yeah.